Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today Games Workshop announced new miniatures for the Aeldari and the Krieg, and of course I would like to share my first impressions with all of you. We have a lot of miniatures to talk about, and that's why I will have to put on my glasses and I will be checking the miniatures here because there's a lot of them. And of course, as always, I invite you to let me know in the comments what you think about these new reveals. Okay, the order that I would like to follow is first we're going to talk about Krieg, then we're going to talk about this Grotmas calendar, and after that we can talk about the Aeldari. Okay, starting with the Krieg, we have a brand new army set, and I have to say that I have to congratulate them for this because I like what I see here. This is an army set and every single miniature inside of this box is brand new, and actually it was announced during this same event. Inside of this box we are going to get the new character, then we're going to have one unit of combat engineers, one artillery team, and 2 units of riders. With that being said, let's take a look at these miniatures and let's start with the new Lord Marshal. I like a lot what I see here because personally I really like the style of Krieg. I really like this First World War vibe. I like it a lot, so of course I'm going to start having a really good impression about these miniatures. I like this miniature, as I mentioned. I really like all the details that we have in this character because of course this is a character and we can see medals, we can see a nice pose. I like the horse, but I'm not a huge fan of cavalry units in the Astra Militarum, but still I like a lot what I see here. Those legs look very weird, but of course it makes sense having in mind what the Krieg did to their homeworld. But as I said, it looks really good. I like a lot what I see here. I like all the details, and I especially like the base because there's like a lot of trench warfare elements there. I hope that they are part of the kit and that we are going to be able to assemble the miniature like that because it really looks very nice. Here you can see the riders of Krieg, and I have to say that starting now we are going to see some overlap because some of these units, something super similar already exists in the Astra Militarum army, but those ones are Cadians, these ones are from Krieg, so yes, they are similar but slightly different. I mean, similar type of unit but different in terms of how they look, probably on rules they are different too. So I have to say that I'm not unhappy about that because right now if someone wants to start collecting Astra Militarum, the only option basically was going for Cadia, and it's a little bit sad that this one being the biggest army in the whole galaxy, there's only like one choice for one planet. No, there's like a lot of them, and I'm happy that there's going to be more variety. With that being said, I have to say that I like what they did with these miniatures. I think that they look very cool. I like the vibe. I think that they look very characteristic of Krieg. I know that they are important in the lore, so I'm happy that they managed to portray them in a very nice way, and they look different. They have like a different vibe from the ones that already exist in the Astra Militarum. But this is just my personal preference, and I'm not a huge fan of horses in the Astra Militarum and cavalry. It's not the vibe that I like the most, so it's like I'm not a huge fan of these miniatures, but still I have to admit that they look very cool. And now here you can see the combat engineers. These ones are brand new. There's not an equivalent in the Astra Militarum, and I like a lot how they look. I think that they look great. I mean, they have totally the Krieg vibe, and that's something that I really like. I like all the details. I even like a lot the color scheme. They look really cool, and I'm very happy with what I'm seeing here. I think that they did a great job. And here we can see an artillery team, and there's of course different ways to assemble these specific miniatures, so we can have different types of weapon. And I have to say about this first one that I'm super happy about what I'm seeing here because I really like the vibe. It's like a small diorama, and I really like that. I think that it looks super cool, and I especially like that small gentleman, that it's not like being part of the functional operation of the weapon itself. It's just that he's there with his weapon in case that someone gets close to the artillery team, and he's like there to shoot. So I like a lot those kind of details, and I think that it looks really cool and interesting. It's something unique, and I like that a lot. But of course the best thing is that we can have different type of weapons, and with that we can have different type of miniatures. We can change the poses, and for example here we can see one of them like carrying the actual ammunition or missiles, I don't know what's that for the weapon, and we can see that yes, the miniature is going to suit the specific weapon, and I think that looks super cool. As I mentioned, they are like small dioramas and I like that a lot. Let's take a look at the new command squad for Krieg, and I like a lot what I see here because every single miniature has so much personality and looks so great. I'm very happy about this specific set. I think that all of them, they look great. There's so much detail, so many things going on. I really like that, and as I mentioned, all of them, they have like a lot of personality, and that's very difficult because let's remember that Krieg soldiers, they have a mask. You cannot see their faces, they don't have like expressions, but here you can actually feel that each one of them is unique, and I like that a lot. I'm especially in love with the commissar and the one with the banner because of course we all love banners. And finally we have the heavy weapon teams. I like that all of them have wheels. I like that a lot. I like those kind of details to differentiate them a lot, and I like that there's also like different weapon options, so I'm very happy about that. I mean, weapon options having in mind the Cadian that already exist, so I'm happy that these ones are unique on their way and we can assemble them in different ways. And of course, yes, we have 3 different weapons and we can exchange them. I'm very happy about that. And I have to say that I like a lot the different color schemes for the Krieg, and I don't know what else to say. I mean, I love the vibe of Krieg in general. I love the vibe of trench warfare. I like the vibe of the First World War, and I'm very happy that we have all of these miniatures. And yes, there's not simple battle line units here because let's remember that those ones already exist, so there's no need to make new ones. So I'm super happy that there's another way to start a Astra Militarum army. You don't have to go for Cadians. Now you have 2 different options. Both of them look awesome, and of course the best is that we can always combine them. Now let's talk about this Grotmas calendar because this is very weird. I'm very interested about this because I think that it looks fun and weird. And they mentioned that from the 1st of December until the 24th, we are going to get a new detachment for each faction of Warhammer 40k, and actually I'm very interested about how that is going to look like. During the reveals, they already mentioned that there's going to be 1 detachment for the Death Watch, and then there's going to be 1 per each Chaos God. I'm very interested about that because I thought that if there's going to be Chaos Demons Codex in the future, there will be 5 detachments, 1 for all the Chaos Demons and then 1 for each Chaos God. So now I'm curious about that, or how it's going to work. Maybe there's going to be even more, but they said that everything here is going to be compatible for the future codex and detachments that there will be released. So actually I'm very interested about that and how it's going to look. So of course we will have to wait, see how it goes, and maybe after that we can talk about that. Okay, now let's go for the Aeldari, because with this specific faction I'm shocked, like really I'm shocked because I didn't expect this. We have new characters and new units. I thought that we were going to have a refresh of the units that we saw during this reveal, but I didn't expect it to have 1 character per each unit, so I'm shocked. First of all, sorry if I don't pronounce correctly these names, because these character names are very tricky for me. But anyway, first I would like to talk about Fuegan, because this miniature was revealed like a while ago, but I thought to myself, okay, I'm not going to talk just about 1 miniature, I will wait a little bit more until there's more reveals. And I have to say that I love what they did with this miniature, because basically it's just a really nice upgrade from the previous one. The previous miniature was awesome, and this one is just an upgrade for it to the actual standards of Games Workshop. So I think that they did an awesome job with this miniature. It looks fantastic. And with that being said about Fuegan, what can I say about the Fire Dragons? I think that they look fantastic as well. I mean, these miniatures, they look awesome. The details are awesome, the poses are great, the weapons look amazing. I like a lot what I'm seeing here. I mean, I like the weapons, the poses, even the color scheme. I think that is like a really nice upgrade for this specific unit, and they look great. I cannot say anything bad about these miniatures. I think that they look awesome. What can I say now about Azure Men? Because he looks great as well. I like a lot what I'm seeing here. Even if, for example, I'm not the biggest fan of this specific color scheme, the miniature looks great to make some alternative color scheme, so it will look slightly different. But by itself, when I see this miniature, I see like a lot of detail, a really good pose, and it looks great. I like a lot what I'm seeing here. The base looks great. I like the movement of the cape. I really like the head of the miniature. It looks very interesting. And also I'm very happy that the head is matching the banner in the back. It's like really interesting. I like the writings on the banner. I like the colors, and I like all the weapons that he has on him. I think that it looks really great. I really like this specific miniature, and I think that this is a really cool looking character. Let's take a look at Baharroth, and I can say exactly the same. This miniature looks majestic, it looks great, and again, it looks super fun to paint because even if, for example, I'm not thinking about starting to collect Aeldari miniatures and starting an army, but if one day in the future I have my armies, I will be like, okay, it will be super cool and super fun to get this miniature and all the house and put them together, and it's going to look nice, and I can like have fun painting and assembling them. I really like how these miniatures look, and I like a lot the wings here. I like some details, like for example, I don't get why would you put like this kind of banner on the weapon, but still it looks great. It looks really good, and that's the most important thing, that the miniature needs to look good. I like a lot the sword. I like a lot the specific shape of the helmet. I really like how this miniature looks. And then here we have these beautiful hawks that, even if they are not as beautiful as the character, they look great. I really like the details on them. They look great. I love those wings. I remember all the people making fun, asking if when they were going to be announced, like the refresh of them, if they were going to keep the wings or they were going to treat them as the Sanguinary Guard of the Blood Angels. So that was very funny, and I'm very happy that they have the wings, because without the wings, these miniatures, they would look like very, very bad or very simple, or they wouldn't make sense. I think that the really big selling point of these specific miniatures, I mean in terms of how they look, are those beautiful wings, because they really differentiate them from the rest of the Aeldari. And I left the ones that I like the most for the end, because here we have the new warp spiders, and I like a lot what I'm seeing here, to be honest. I think that this specific unit is right now my favorite Aeldari kit, because I really like how they look. They look fantastic. I mean, the old ones, warp spiders, they have always looked good. The concept is great, they are super iconic, and they look fantastic. So this is what they needed. They just needed an upgrade. They needed to look with the proper amount of details, the proper poses, and the proper body proportions that Games Workshop miniatures have right now. So of course I'm super amazed with the miniatures that we have here, and I like that, for example, with the main one we have like all of these options that it clearly stands out, and I especially like the color scheme that these ones have. I think that they look great, and I think that among all the Aeldari reveals in terms of units that I have been in a really long time, these ones are my favorite ones. I like them a lot. I think that they look great. And what else can I say? I love the poses, I love the bases. I like that. I mean, this is something that we have for all of them. We have helmets, and then we can also build them without the helmets. So of course that brings them even more personality, and more options are always better. So I like a lot what I'm seeing here, and I have to congratulate the team that designed and made these miniatures. And finally we have this specific character. I'm not going to name because I don't know how to pronounce the name of this character, but what I know is that this character looks beyond awesome. I really like what I'm seeing here. I'm going to start from the bottom, okay? This is probably one of the best tactical rocks that I have seen in my life. I love all the effects on the base. I think that it looks great. I'm very happy with what I'm seeing here. It's like it just appeared right there. I don't know. I think that it looks great, and the amount of detail is awesome. I love when there's like a huge amount of details on the characters. I really like that. And in this specific case, I cannot complain, because this character even has 4 extra arms with the proper wolf spiders, they don't have that many. Here we have 8, and actually this character looks like a actual spider. That's intimidating. I like that. I like this kind of things. I like a lot all the details. I like all the extra eyes on the helmet. I think that it looks very great. I love the sword, the details on the sword. I really like the color scheme as well. It looks really, really interesting. I don't know. What can I say about this character? It looks fantastic. I think that it's really, really good, awesome design, and I'm very happy with this one. It's like, oh my god, I was shocked when I saw this miniature. It was probably one of my favorite reveals that I have seen in a while, and I think that it looks great. I mean, awesome. And basically these were my first impressions about these miniatures, and as I mentioned, I'm very, very happy that now there's more options for the persons that will decide to start Astra Militarum armies, or they want to expand them, because now there's more options. There's not only Cadia, there's more out there, and I'm very happy about that. I like a lot the new miniatures, the designs, I like how they look, I like the poses and the details. I think that it looks great, and I'm very happy about that. Regarding the Aeldari, I really think that they needed this upgrade on those specific kits, and I'm very happy about that because they look great. I mean, and all of those, they are quite iconic for the Aeldari, and I'm very happy that now we have new miniatures for all of them. And also, every single character that we saw right here, I think that the design is epic, they look majestic, the amount of detail is huge. I like a lot all of them. I don't know how to complain about them, because actually my only complaints about the reveals of today is just something very, very personal. It's just that I'm not a huge fan of the cavalry units in Astra Militarum, and that's why I'm not in love, or I don't like that much that specific army set. So that's it. Those are my complaints about today. As usual, I'm very happy with the Games Workshop's miniatures. I think that they do like a really good job, and I'm very happy about that. And with all of that being said, this is the end of the video. These were my first impressions about all the new reveals, and of course, as always, I invite you to let me know in the comments what you think about these new miniatures. And as usual, if you are still here, please consider giving me a like and subscribing. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.